Hi there guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks very much for joining us again today. I've got a very short video tutorial that will show you how to set up a follow-up sequence with Getresponse. So just before I do so, once you've watched the video and you want to give Getresponse a go, all you need to do to get your free trial version of it is click the link in the description down below. So that'll take you through to a free trial version of Getresponse and you'll be able to utilize it again, literally for completely free. So with a response sequence or a follow-up sequence, it's something that you'd need to program with Getresponse, and it uses a modular-based programming system, which I'll show you in a second. It's quite complicated when you first see it. However, when you can kind of wrap your head around it, you know, it is quite self-explanatory and fairly easy. It can get quite complicated quite quickly. When you look at other tutorials, there's some 45-minute, 60-minute tutorials on it. Today is just going to be a very quick overview of it. And the best way to kind of learn this is to just spend time in it, use it and see what you can do with it basically and see how it all works. So if you go to Tools in the top left-hand corner, and then what you'll need to do is select Automation. Okay, so that'll take you through to this process then. And what I've done is I've created a new account so you can see it from a new user's perspective. So when you're in this, sequence or automation kind of window, there's a bunch of, preset templates which are already programmed, which will probably cover what you're going to need. However, I highly recommend doing what we're going to do and following this tutorial step by step yourself as well. Just going to give you a bit of context as to what it's doing and to get a good grasp of it and understand it, because you could easily open one of these templates and then modify it once you understand how it all works. However, start here, go build from scratch, start now, and then it's telling us that you should have a couple of things prepared before you start it off. Okay, that's fine, and it's kind of explaining what the system is. You can give it a name for this purpose. I'm just going to leave it as it is. And then obviously it's kind of, telling us that this process is going to start when someone subscribes or clicks a link or opens a message. For this one, it's going to be subscribe. So like I said, it's module based, it's node based. So the idea is that you drag one of these elements into this area here and then connect them as so. Okay, so when you click and drag something in, it's not the most efficient system really. As you can see, it's a little bit kind of clunky is the word I'd call it, but and this kind of takes you through the process then of deciding on what happens when a sequence of events occurs really. So what you've got to do is physically connect these with what look like little wires. So you've got to connect from this area, left click and hold, and then drag a wire to that little node there, and that will then connect them as a sequence of events. Try and look for that little green dot in the interface, and then you can kind of see then how it works in the sense that that's a step. So someone subscribed to any of your lists via any method, and then a message is sent. So when that happens, that triggers that step. Then once that message is sent, then that's going to be a link within that newsletter is going to be displayed. So here is deciding that when that link was clicked, what link clicks do you want to track, and then obviously you can choose a plethora of options there. You can decide that what message it's going to send as a consequence of that link being selected, and then you can give it a URL for that as well then. And obviously it's prompting us to give that physical connection here as well between those two nodes. Back to the add elements, and then we're going to add a tag, and as you can see that's kind of connected to the negative result node then, if it will. So you'll see that in a second. So we're just going to give that a test name for today, and you can see that when something isn't clicked then, so when that link isn't clicked, then that's what happens, if that makes sense. If that's kind of getting through to you at this point. So that happens, then the message is sent, and then that's got a link in it. When it's not clicked, that happens, and then when it is clicked, we'll show you what happens next. That goes to an amount filter. Obviously, you know, it's going to take you a long time to get a grasp of what all of those elements and modes and not modules do. I don't expect you to kind of, you know, grasp that. That's why some of the tutorials on this subject are extensive, you know. So it's just telling us to give a random number there, how many contacts you want to reach. And then, yeah, we got to connect that one up to there. And then add another element, which is a wait element. And then that's going to wait for a single day. Obviously, you can change that value as is prompting us to do there. That was being a little bit awkward for me. And then obviously, you know, if that hasn't occurred, you know, so it's going to wait for 2 days. If that event hasn't occurred, and then as a result of waiting for 2 days, it's going to then send another message. It's going to kind of, you know, re-prompt that user to perform an action. Okay, so that will be the same tutorial message again, and then obviously we can click that and that. So you can see that, you know, from that sequence of events, that if we just sort of isolate this little part here, so they'll click a link, and then the first 100 contacts then select a message. Okay, so if they don't, then in 2 days they get prompted to do so again. You know, so that's the kind of the way that this works, really, this whole system. And, you know, think about setting it out in a way that makes sense to you. If you'd prefer working from left to right or top to bottom or whatever, that would make sense as well. But that is how you'd kind of construct a sequence of events or a follow-up sequence, you know. So you'd kind of program the steps like that one at a time, and you'd have to kind of make a logic flow. It's sometimes maybe better to think about this on paper beforehand and write it out before coming in here and just executing it. But then obviously you can go save and publish in the top right, and then it's telling us that, you know, there's a couple of errors there, and that will then arrive you back at the workflow screen, where you can edit, duplicate, export and delete those workflows that you create by hovering over that 3-dot option on the right hand side there. So like I said, you know, it's something that you should spend some time on and just, you know, experiment with it and utilize it, and then sort of you'll slowly get to the point where you know how it all works and you can make a follow-up sequence with it. So that concludes the video tutorial. Like I said, if you want to give Getresponse a go now, there's a link in the description down below that'll take you straight through to a free trial version. If you've enjoyed the video and you want to see more content of this nature, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you've got any suggestions for future videos or any questions or anything like that, leave them as comments down below. Thank you very much.